Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related, and I'd love it if you liked and subscribed if you aren't already. Today is another Project Pan update. It is finally the month of December. I feel like this year has gone by incredibly fast. I feel like in general, probably the most exciting year of my life. A little life update, I did get bangs. I honestly really like them. I'm a really big fan of the way they look. I think they suit my face. I was a little bit nervous that they wouldn't, but honestly, I'm obsessed with them. I think they're super cute. I do think they can get a little bit in the way sometimes. I know I need to trim them a little bit. I want them just a little bit shorter so they're not in my eyes as much, but overall, I'm a really big fan. I really like the way they look. I will say though, some of my baby hairs keep like moving to the front, and I have had to readjust my part in my hair because like I want the part to be in the middle. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment. I've had them for about 2 weeks now, so this is the first video I've filmed since getting these bangs. I don't have a ton of interesting updates regarding this Project Pan update. This one is going to be kind of boring. I do feel like this one and maybe the next one are going to be kind of boring just because you're going to have these like long gaps of not being able to finish up products, but I do have some substantial progress in some of them, and so we're gonna talk through them. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I hope you guys are super excited for the holiday season. I finally put out my little tree decor, and I hung up my little stockings back there, so I'm just really excited. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. I don't love the weather we have right now. The weather is rainy. It's not even snowing yet, so it's very gloomy out. It's very dark out, which is why I kind of have my box lights on. So not necessarily natural light, but we gotta work with what we have. And let's hop into it. With these types of videos, or with this series, I like to go from least exciting to most exciting. So I would say the least exciting product is my Rare Beauty setting powder. So when I first made these marks, I made them kind of messily. I think it started at this line. When I was in Australia and Vietnam, I got it down to this line, and now I think I'm at this bottom line here. So not a ton of progress. It's honestly kind of hard to measure my progress in this powder. I've tried tapping it down, and I do the best that I can. So this might not be like the most accurate marking, but I do feel like I've been using this powder quite a bit, especially because since I've gotten bangs, my forehead feels a lot more oily. I feel like I have needed to powder a little bit more, especially in my T-zone too. So I've been using this quite a bit. Also want to mention, if I sound sick, it's because I am. I did get COVID right past Thanksgiving, and it's been me slowly recovering, so if I sound a little bit different, I'm sorry. Not a ton of progress here. I have been using it, like I said, quite often, but I feel like with loose powders specifically, it's just so hard to gauge how much powder you're actually using, especially when you can't really tell from the packaging. I think I could weigh this, but I don't think my scale is accurate enough to be able to do that and weigh like per month. I don't think the number would change very much. Working my way through it, we're gonna keep going with it. The next item I want to talk about is my Lila B Bedazzling Divine Duo Lip and Cheek. This is a highlighter that I have in my collection. My goal on this is to completely finish up this highlighter. I do feel like the pan has expanded quite a bit, but I did hit pan on this very early on, and so I feel like until I finish it, or until I get close to finishing it, this just isn't super exciting to me anymore. I have been using it quite a bit throughout the month. I was using it as an eyeshadow as well, just taking a little bit on my finger and then putting it on my lids, but I was finding that on this eye specifically, I was getting some acne, like some clogged pore on my eyelid, so I stopped doing that because this was mainly the product that I was using on my eyes. I think it's maybe just a little bit too thick and heavy for my eyes, or maybe I'm not washing it off well enough when I go to bed. So I stopped doing that, but I still use it on my face, and I use it as just like a pinpointed highlighter. My favorite way to apply this right now is with the Real Techniques setting brush, and I just take my brush, swirl it in there, and then kind of just like buff it onto my skin. I really like the way that looks. I think it's beautiful. I think it kind of like melts into the skin. Lila B isn't a brand anymore, so you can't get your hands on this. Even if they were, I don't think I would repurchase this once I finish it up. I think my main draw to this is actually the component, because it's like nice and heavy, and it's just kind of fun to play with, but the product itself isn't super revolutionary. I have other cream products that I prefer more, cream highlighters at least. So yeah, not super exciting, but we're getting there. The next product I want to talk about is my Merit Minimalist. This is kind of a foundation concealer in one. It's just a cream product. I feel like I've been using this quite a lot in the past month. I've been using it as concealer, foundation, just all over my face in general. This has been my go-to product whenever I do my makeup. I will say this past week, having COVID, I wasn't wearing a ton of makeup. This is the first time I've put on makeup since getting COVID. This last week I haven't used it, but the rest of the week I used it. I used it over Thanksgiving. I think it's okay. I think if you prep your skin very well, I do like it. I do feel like when I roll it all the way down, I can see how much progress I've actually made on this, and I feel like it's substantial, but rolling it up, you can still see there's a long way to go. I think this is going to take me a lot longer than I initially thought, because month to month, you really don't need a ton of product. You just swipe it on your face, and it doesn't take a lot to cover your face. I know that this is a lightweight product to begin with, or like a light coverage product to begin with, so you're not going to be using a ton regardless. It's just going to take me a lot longer than I thought it would. I do like this. I do feel like it matches pretty well. I think it's maybe a tad bit too warm for my skin. I mean, you can't tell with this viewfinder, but in person, I do think it's a tad bit warm. Again, though, I think it's fine if you prep your skin right. You really have to make sure your skin is hydrated. If you have any dry patches, this will cling to it really, really badly. So just prep your skin. I like to use either the Merit serum that they have, that oil hybrid serum that they have, or I like to use my Glossier Future Dew to prep my skin when I use this. I think both of them work really well and create a nice like glowy base for you to use this with. The next item I have here is my Milk Makeup Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. I typically use this in my T-zones, especially when I have a super glowy primer or just super hydrated base, because I do have a more oily skin type, especially in my T-zone. I feel like this does an okay job of mattifying. I don't think it's super pore minimizing. I will say I don't have a ton of pores to begin with, or my pores aren't really like a big concern for me to begin with, so I'm probably not the best person to talk about how much it minimizes your pores, but I do like it for the mattifying effect that it has. I do think it does a pretty decent job when I don't put on something super glowy on top. Like on its own, it's fine. Today I put on the Milani blush that I'm going to talk about in a second, and I do feel like my skin still looks very glowy and still very hydrated. So I will say that I like this more than your typical mattifying primer, because it doesn't feel very silicone-y. It does feel a little tiny bit silicone-y, but it feels much more like a moisturizer than any other mattifying primer I've tried. So I think this is fine. When I finish it up, I probably wouldn't repurchase it, but I do feel like I've made a pretty good dent in this. I do feel like I can finish this. Not by the end of the year, definitely not, but soon for sure. I feel like that doesn't seem like a lot of product left. The next item I have here is the Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Blush in the shade Nude Kiss. I don't know what I did to this blush, but there are a ton of little like fibers in here. I think it's just from my brush, but it kind of looks gross. I do like this. I have been using it quite a bit. You guys know I'm a heavy blush gal, and I do think that putting on a lot of this blush specifically never ends up looking too bad because it does fade a little bit, especially if you put powder on top. Usually I'll do like a layer of this, put powder, and then touch up with a little bit more. I think it's a great blush. I think it's super affordable. It's really nice for the price. Yeah, just gonna keep working on it. I do feel like the dent has gotten a little bit bigger, but I don't think I'm gonna hit pan soon. I think maybe in like 3 months I will hit pan on this. The next product I have here is my Nabla Skin Bronzing. I have this in the shade Soft Revenge. I think I'm being a little bit delulu with this bronzer. I feel like I am gonna hit pan relatively soon. And I don't know why. Like, I don't see any waffle or like indents from the pan itself, but something in my little brain is convincing me that I am gonna hit pan on this soon. I do really like this. This is actually such a good product. So this tone in Soft Revenge specifically is not super warm. I would say this is more of like a contour shade for me than anything. Just to show you, like, it's not warm, but you can see it has a little bit of radiance to it, which I feel like really adds to the product. I have really been liking this. I think it blends out beautifully. It's a baked formula, so you can't really go overboard with it. I like to use a really fluffy brush and just kind of swirl my brush in there. Lately I've been using the Rougher 05, or I'll just use a big fluffy brush like this. This is the this is the BH Cosmetics #1 brush. I don't know if BH Cosmetics is still a brand. I got this at a set at Ulta a while ago, but both of these do a really good job. I think just something very fluffy like this is a good way to go. The rougher brush is just a little bit more pinched. Both work super well. I do really like this bronzer. I really think I'm gonna hit pan on this soon, and I don't know why. The next thing I have here is my lip liner. This is the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner. This is in the shade Soft Spoken. Honestly, I think that's pretty good progress. I think I have used this quite a bit. I really liked pairing this and the Clinique Almost Lipstick in Black Honey together. I am actually almost done with the Clinique Almost Lipstick too. I feel like that's all that's left of it. This is a sample size, but still, I feel like that's pretty good for me. But yeah, I've been loving these two paired together. I've been using the lip liner quite a bit. I haven't been using it like excessively, but I have been using it way more than I thought I would. I think maybe just to make up for the fact that the month before I had zero progress. I have been really liking it. It's a good lip liner. I like the shade of it a lot, and I have grown to like that shade a lot. I used to not be like the biggest fan, but I think my mind has changed, especially in these like colder winter months. And the last thing I have here is my e.l.f. lip gloss. This is the lip lacquer in the shade Bubbles. I feel like I've made a ton of progress in this past month. I've been using it all the time. I didn't give this enough time to like fully settle to the bottom, so I drew my line about where I thought it would be when it fully settled, but even then I still feel like that's a ton of progress for 1 month of usage. I think next month I will definitely be done with this and I will be able to roll it out, but this month just didn't get there. It's fine. Like I said, when I put this in my project pan, it's one of my least favorite formulas in my collection. I like the shimmer that it has. It's also like $3, so I can't be too picky with it. I think it's a fine lip gloss. I don't think it's anything super revolutionary. It's not the most hydrating. I probably wouldn't pick this up again, but I mean, I do have it, so I'm gonna try and use this up. The color has definitely changed a lot more within this last month, just from me putting it on top of lip liner, putting it on top of lipsticks, things like that. I do feel like the amount of progress I've had on this was insane though. This is definitely gonna take me not a super long time to finish up. I think if I don't finish this by the new year, then I have some issues. We're doing good. This is probably the most visible progress I have on a product, so very excited to use up another product soon. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys are having a great day. I do feel like we're getting close to some of these products, especially the bronzer and the blush. I feel like in the next couple months I will be able to hit pan on it. The bronzer might be a little bit of a stretch. I think I'm deluding myself just a little bit there, but I do feel like I'm getting close. I don't know. I'm probably not. I think I am deluding myself, but I feel it in my soul that I'm gonna hit pan soon. And with the blush, it's just a cream blush. I feel like the dent is getting pretty large. I feel like with continued use, it'll continue dipping, obviously. I've actually really been liking this blush, and I think it goes really well with the lip liner, which one of the reasons why I wasn't using the lip liner a ton before putting this in was because it was clashing with the Rare Beauty blush I had in the shade Joy. I just didn't feel like the tones matched each other, but these match much more cohesively, or these are just much more cohesive and match each other a lot better, and because of that I feel like I'm definitely using the lip liner more. I feel like the powder, the Rare Beauty powder, is just gonna take a super long time. I'm not really anticipating finishing this anytime soon, but I definitely want to keep trying to use it up. I feel like out of all the loose powders in my collection, this is probably my least favorite. You know, I have it, I want to make use out of it, and I do feel like I've made some pretty good progress so far. I think powders are just going to take a really long time for me to finish up. The highlighter, again, like I know I've hit pan on it, but I don't think I'm going to feel any sort of special feeling about this until I get closer to really finishing it up. I think for now, this is going to be kind of a boring update just because, you know, I have already hit pan on it. The pan is slowly expanding, but it hasn't been anything super revolutionary. We're just going to keep going until we finish. And then these two products, again, I don't think I'm going to see any super insane progress with the Merit the Minimalist Stick. I think, you know, just the way that I use it, the way that the product inherently is, it's going to take a little bit of time. But I do like it if you prep your skin right. And then the Milk Primer, again, I like it enough. I don't think it's like revolutionary. I am going to keep working on it. I do think this is going to take me a little bit longer as well though, just because I really only use this in the T-zone, and I don't wear primer as often as I would, or as often as I maybe should. Sometimes I forget to put on primer even when I am wearing makeup, so this is probably the item that is just going to take a little bit longer for me to finish up, even though I do feel like already I don't have a ton of product in here, but especially if I'm just using this in my T-zone, I'm not using a ton of product anyway, so I just think it's going to take a little bit. And then obviously the lip gloss, I think I can finish by next month for sure. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. I am so excited for it to be December. I feel like this year has been insane. I'm so excited for Christmas. I still need to do a ton of Christmas shopping though. I'm very excited. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I will see you guys soon. Bye guys.